Welcome Home Radio Podcast. Are you looking to buy or sell your home? Our team is here with answers to guide you through the buying and selling process. We encourage you to ask questions. Please comment on this show or visit us at welcomehomeradio.net for more information. Bringing real estate, lending, and education together in one place, and to help you make the right home decision for you and your family.
And welcome to Welcome Home Radio, where real estate lending and learning come together. It is November 12th, not October. But right off the bat, I do want to celebrate the veterans out there. I want to thank every veteran for their service, for what the opportunity, what they've done for our country, our families, our friends. We thank you. I want to make sure everyone knows out there, there's Armed Forces Day for those celebrating those that are serving presently. Memorial Day. It's not hot dogs and hamburgers day. It is we're remembering those that have not come home, those that fought for the freedoms and paid the ultimate sacrifice. And then finally, Veterans Day, where those that have served are honored for their duty, even though their service is over, time in uniform, but their duty is never done. So thank you, veterans, for what you've done for making our country. And welcome, guys. How are y'all doing this week?
Doing wonderful.
Very
Thank you.
Good. Very good.
Awesome. Well, we're continuing our series with Your Turn to Ask. We continue to get some great questions in, and I think it's well worth the time. We picked out a few here, and this first one really, I think, is hitting on some key points. Welcome Home Radio. How long can home values stay stable if the labor market softens as it is and the government stays shut down? Wow. Good question. I'm going to give my approach, and I'd like to let y'all share your thoughts. Home values can hold up for a while, probably again for the next couple of months, but that's just due to the inventories so tight. Job losses can slow down, but not be a major issue. But the housing market's biggest shield is still low supply. Even if hiring cools, homeowners aren't panic selling, or builders are not cautious about starting. They're still in the market. But if labor market weakens even significantly, or the shutdown lingers longer, well into the winter, and consumer confidence goes, then again, I would have to change that. We could see home values softening. The bottom line is it's going to be a pretty flat fall, stability for several months prolonged. It's kind of like a golfer waiting for the winds to die down to go play golf. I mean, we're in a hold pattern, or you get out into and play. So what is y'all's take on this wonderful question?
Well, I was thinking the wind analogy was good there. Thank you very much.
At least I do something right.
You know, not bad for a Monday. But you know, one thing that, you know, I'm noting personally is, of course, I've got a house for sale right now, and a sale or lease, and I'm seeing a lot of lease, but I'm not seeing much sale inquiry stuff going on. And I go back and look at it, and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's driven by the price, and I'm sure if I could put a different price on the house, it would move faster. So it looks like I'm going to be waiting it out and just leasing it out instead. So, you know, not everybody has that same flexibility I have as far as that goes, but that's my dipping the toes in the water right now experience firsthand of what I've been seeing.
Jeff, what are you seeing?
You know, the values are going to hold stable for quite a while, and I would expect it's definitely going to outlast the shutdown. You have to be very, very cautious when it comes to anything when you talk about politics and government aspects of what's going to happen. But I was expecting that the shutdown would end sometime after these elections that we just had last week. So that's what I've truly thought. Now, obviously, we're gonna see what's happening this next week, but I cannot see that they hold this shutdown in place for just that much longer. I mean, it's not a softening market when it comes down to it. We have a little more on inventory than we did just a few months ago because we saw those little bit of rates tick down, but not that much.
I would temper that statement with in our region in the Southwest here,
Absolutely.
coast, they are not seeing that. Tight supply is very, very tight, very significant in waiting, and but home values are holding steady. I agree with you. I understand there's over the weekend there was some work done on the government shutdown, and I think several Democrats are finally moving their vote, should I say, because their contingencies are already complaining. But again, if it goes any longer, as well as home values, I think they'll weaken if the labor market continues to decline like it's been doing. And I'm going to throw this out there. We don't have to get into a discussion about it, but the bottom line is we're seeing major changes in the job market with AI. AI is, as the Ford CEO stated, a lot of jobs are being replaced now. We don't need first-time employees doing some things because we have AI doing so much of it. So that is a challenge that we'll see a difference, but the government shutdown has caused a lot of temperament of waiting, and home prices, I gotta believe, will weaken a little bit if it goes long. But I'm hoping it'll be over this week. So, okay, second question. WHR, welcome home radio. WHR, are buyers holding back because of uncertainty or simply fatigue from higher rates? Wow. I think it's a little of both. Mostly, I think it's rate fatigue. Rates being in the sevens to eights, and a lot of times now that they've dropped, they've worn buyers down emotionally, and now you're into the holiday season. I mean, I'm already seeing Christmas stuff up, and one radio station's already playing music. So I think people are going to be holding out because we always hold out at this time. We've got gift giving, we've got travel, we've got family coming, we got whatever. But serious buyers are out there, especially those who need to move due to life events, job transfers, growing families. They're still out there, and they're negotiating very hard because it's in a buyer's market. But rates have already dropped. I mean, I know in the sevens or so forth is a challenge, but we're in the medium sixes to. I just locked in one at VA loan for 5 3/4. So rates are good, but you've got to decide what's the priorities, and I think that's where a lot of buyers are at right now. Their priority is going to be holiday. Their priority may be looking for a job. Their priority may be buying gifts. Unfortunately, a home is not a major priority unless it is a major life change. And I don't know. Sellers are out there offering good deals. I saw hey, what's it going to cost us to offer a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down? Those sorts of things. Sellers are in negotiation, so it's a good time to be on the buy.
And builders are giving even more incentives of late. Even when they didn't want to pay realtors to come out and bring their clients out to the neighborhood, they've changed course on that, and they're giving bonuses like, "Come see us, come check this out." I do think one of the things I think is really interesting. I saw last week that the average age of a first-time home buyer is now 40 years of age. Yep. Isn't that incredible? Did y'all see that stat?
I haven't seen that stat, but I've heard it's been raising.
It's slowly been climbing with these generations in the mindset of building that long-term wealth as the way we think about it, but yet everybody's not thinking long-term right now because of everything.
Well, the funny thing is
the way everything is happening.
Those young kids at 20-something are staying in mom and dad's basement. I mean, and so it's not a surprise dipping your toe in the market. I understand, but with this labor market, I got to believe there's going to be some challenges with it. That's a holdout. What's going to happen? What's going on with my job? I know Tom's not worried about it, Mr. know everything, but you know, you're worried about those things.
Well, I was just doing the math on that average age first time home buyer of 40. What are they doing getting a 40-year mortgage?
Yeah, there you go. Or the average home buyer in general overall is 59. Guys, I don't know if that just kind of blew my mind, because that's not the way it's been, for all these years. It's just
No, not at all. And you bring up an interesting point, Tom, because just this weekend also, I've heard FHA is considering making 50-year mortgages.
Yeah, they've talked about that for years and years and years as far as going to a 40 and 50-year mortgage.
I think they're getting serious about the 50-year. I really do.
It would not surprise me as far as the craziness that's involved for that to happen, even though that's devastating for a homeowner.
Well, you look at it, and how long are people staying in homes? I mean, 3 to 7 years at the most, first time. And secondly, you're paying interest up front, so you're spreading it out. You're making these more expensive homes maybe a little more costly, but you're not going to ultimately pay it off. So it's an interesting thought if they go that way. I don't know what the odds are, but I heard from 3 different sources this weekend that the 50-year is strongly being considered by the Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie type opportunities. So,
in your initial conversation about the interest rate, I've also had an experience this last week with somebody that came to me that saw my house, and they were represented by a realtor, and the realtor said, would you self-finance the property? And I said, yeah, I'd owner finance it on a 30-year note with 20% down, 25% down, something like that for sure. And she said, eventually, well, what would be your interest rate? And I said, well, my interest rate would be 7.5% to 8%. And she said, oh, well, that's too high. And I'm like, well, why doesn't he go get his own financing? And she said, well, he's self-employed. And I'm like, well, he's going to have to use if he can't tell Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac how much he makes, and I'm taking a risk on with him, I'm going to price it if he's not telling, the lender how he makes his money.
Oh, no, the interest rate just went from 8 to 9, didn't it?
Pretty much. Exactly.
You want me to take
credit? I said, well, that's great. I'm happy he's paying his bills right now, but if he's not telling the government, I'm taking a risk as well on that.
He's just going to drop the cash on your porch every month. No worries. It's
exactly.
Well, hopefully that answered your question. Yes, buyers are fatigued. It's through rate fatigue, but I also say I think they're limited in what they want to try to do with the holiday season approaching. And I think the new year will bring around a lot of changes, but there are some great deals out there if you're able to finance. If you're especially in owner financing, just like Tom said, I was shocked to hear 7.5. I would have thought 9 to 12, somewhere in there, if that's the situation. So hard money lenders are still in the 9s to 10s right now. So hopefully we've helped you understand that. Finally, our third question. Welcome Home Radio. Are sellers adjusting list price to meet thinner demand, or are they waiting out the noise? I don't know what waiting out the noise really means.
Say that one more time.
Are sellers adjusting list prices to meet thinner demand, or are they waiting out the noise?
Well, the noise is everything talking about the potential rate drops, I would assume.
Well, if they're following rate, guys, if you're following just rates, let me give you my approach to this. It is Tom can give and Jeff can give theirs. It is number 14 in the top 10. It is not the number one priority you watch. The loan program, the cost of the loan, all of that. Here's an indicator. If the interest rate and the APR are greater than 1% separated, you're not doing a good mortgage for yourself. I'll just be perfectly honest. That APR, if it's higher than 1% over your interest rate, it's not a good loan. You're somewhere you're paying for that way more than you would expect. Mortgages can be refinanced, but it's ultimately, do you want to buy a home now, or do you want to wait for the push, wait for the great interest rate you think? Because we're never going to see threes again, not in our lifetime. I bet you the best we could ever see is 4 3/4. So the bottom line is, savvy buyers are looking for the deal. And again, if you go at it, negotiate a 3-2-1 buy down or a 2-1 buy down. What that really means, you start off at 7, your first year is at 5%, your second year is at 6, and your permanent goes into 7. But somebody else is spending their money to get you that for that 2 years, and you might be moving out at that second year. So be out there. But savvy buyers are not waiting. They're not listening to the noise. What do y'all think?
No, I think for the most part, sellers are not. I mean, I love that term, waiting out the noise, because everything you just said is the noise. That's what they're hearing, is all the confusion of what's best, or it's the right. But that doesn't mean that's going to be the perfect match for you. So you've already said it perfectly.
Wow.
I think, I know I'll give you that credit because we've got people listening. But I just think in general too, there's a lot of sellers who are ready to go on the market. But if people will remember 3 years ago, they overpaid by 50 grand, maybe 75 grand they paid over listing price. Remember those battles were happening? So that money that they sunk into it, if they just listen to the noise and drop their prices, they're going to be losing out of time in the long haul if they've only been there 3 to 5 years and they price bid the purchase of their home. So I think that's why they're willing to wait out the noise, as the expression goes.
Well, I love the way somebody talked about a seller. They described the sellers are acting like they've got diamond homes in a gold market, confident, sparkly, and only slightly in denial. So, we pride our homes. We think they are the best thing, and we qualify it with, oh, so and so sold it for this amount. The bottom line, the market's changed. If it's over 6 months data, it's old. You need to adjust to what the market is. If you need to sell, there are ways to make it happen, and realtors are coming up with some very interesting incentives as well as opportunities. But everything's negotiable. It's just whether who's in a power position to negotiate. On the most part, buyers are in the position. It's a buyer's market. Everybody wants them. So sellers are going to have to do something different. I had a neighbor just sell their home, and they ended up dropping $170,000 down just to get the home sold because it wasn't up to snuff. It wasn't ready, because that person is still not moved in, and they've owned the home for 2 months. They still got workers working on the home to get it ready. So don't know.
And they dropped the price 170. Is that what you said?
Yep. To sell the home.
Well, if it needs work, it needs work, and people
right.
will charge you for every dime as far as that goes.
Well, and it did need work. It needed work.
Right.
Way big. I mean, when we went to go look at it, because it's literally almost right behind our home, we saw things, and we were asking the realtor. We know the realtor who was on the home, and there were so many little projects to be done to make it comfortable, to just to be move-in ready, in my opinion. But as is not a solution unless you're ready to cut your price.
I do want to argue with you about the 3%. What does that say?
A reverse 3.
Well,
Turn it-
let's turn it this way.
There you go.
So you did see 3 again, just to let
Not
you
3%.
know.
There wasn't a percent sign. I didn't
There
see
was
the
no percentage.
number.
That's,
I want it to be official.
there you go. Uh-oh. Here we go.
There you go. You saw 3% again, just to let you know.
Not on a loan. No, not on a loan.
Strangely enough, I'm putting that right on top of the paperwork for my loan,
Wishful thinking.
the folder.
Well, again, guys, happy Veterans Week. I hope you know, if you know a veteran, thank them very much for their service. I hope we're answering questions out there. They keep coming in, so we're going to continue down this road. I thank you for your time. I'm Blair Thomas.
And I'm
Jeff
Tom
Duffy.
Holm.
And he's Jeff. He's Tom. We love y'all. Happy Thanksgiving coming shortly. Enjoy your time. God bless.
Welcome Home Radio production provided by Lunatic Digital. Check the listing of this podcast for the links to our sponsors. And don't forget to like, share, and follow us on social media. Visit welcomehomeradio.net for more information. This was a Lunatic Digital production. Visit lunaticdigital.com for all your digital needs.